Hi, this is Nige Rockett from ONSLAUGHT, and you're listening to Heavy Demons Radio Show.
So, dear Nige, how are you living and experiencing the post-pandemic situation in the UK?
It's different, let's say.
Yeah.
Fortunately for me, I've been in lockdown basically since March the 15th. But I've been lucky in the fact that we've been very busy with the new album. We were kind of little naughty. We did record the vocals. We had the whole mixing of the album to do whilst in lockdown, which was very interesting and different. Because basically, when the mix stage starts, I would generally go to the studio for maybe 3 or 4 days just to sit in with whoever's mixing the album and go through the stuff just to make sure everything's in the right place and we're getting all the sounds that we want, But obviously this album was being mixed in Sweden with Daniel Bergstrand, so I was unable to fly over. So basically the whole album was mixed via email and text message, which was very, very difficult because you can imagine if a slight change that would maybe take 30 seconds in the studio, and maybe Daniel, let us have a little more high end on the guitar. 30 seconds, but in COVID time it was like 2 hours because he'd have to download the sounds and the mix and send it to me, and I'd have to download it and listen and then go back, and if it wasn't quite right we'd have to do it again and again, and it was so hard.
Yeah, like technology helps on one hand, but then it's difficult again.
Yeah, but we got there. I mean, we're just blown away with the results of the mix, So we did get there, and I really have to thank Daniel for his patience with us,
What can you tell us about the production of a Grammy Award-winning producer such as Daniel Bergstrand?
Yeah, I mean, we always like our albums to sound different to the last one,
Yeah.
Sounds of Violence was with Jacob Hansen. 6 was with Plek Johansson. And so we decided to go a different route again this one with Daniel Bergstrand, I've really liked what Daniel's done with the bands he's worked with, not necessarily thrash bands, but that's part of the reason that we went with him, to get different feel for the band on this album. When I spoke to him the first time, he said, Nige, how do you want this album to sound? And I said, well, basically, can you deliver us one of the most aggressive sounding thrash metal records ever made? That's the kind of angle we were going at, He said, yeah, sure, I can do that. So it was all good. And yeah, he's absolutely amazing. Everybody's been blown away with the production so far. It's just got so much energy. It's so raw and aggressive, and it's just huge. I just love the sound of the record.
Yeah, and Generation Antichrist will soon be available. What shall the fans expect from the new album, and how was working with your new vocalist Dave Garnett?
Okay, before we started to write this record, we sort of sat down and had discussions about which direction we should take this in, because as I said, we don't want ever 2 albums to sound the same. We don't want a repeat of 6 or Sounds of Violence. The fans don't want that, so we always decide where we're going. So we spoke in depth about the direction for Generation Antichrist, and we decided that because we felt that Sounds of Violence and 6 were probably very technical records in terms of Onslaught thrash metal. They were lots of busy riffs and lots of changes and intricate parts, So we said let's go back. Let's go back to the roots a little bit. Let's go back and look at our influences and see what we were doing to capture the real energy vibe on those records back in the early days, And we just kept the riffs very, very open and raw, and cut down on the intricacies, if you like, just to try and recapture that early vibe, But but with the mix that Daniel was going to give us, it was going to bring us a new edge as well. So we were kind of taking 2 steps backwards to make 5 or 6 steps forward. We had a definite plan on it, and I really think it's worked. I've spoken to a lot of people and doing loads of interviews so far, and people are really seeing it. What we've done, they're saying, "Wow, you've gone back to your roots." They see that, but they also can feel that we're moving forward and doing something a little different.
Tell us something about the amazing artwork of Religious Suicide and Generation Antichrist.
All done by our bass player Jeff Williams. Jeff's been doing our artwork now for since Killing Peace. I mean, he did the artwork for Killing Peace. He did the artwork for Sounds of Violence. All the other songs. The only one he hasn't done over recent years was the sleeve for 6. That was the only one. But apart from that, Jeff's done the artwork for Religious Suicide, the Generation Antichrist. He's done the artwork for the next upcoming single also. But yeah, I mean, it's like everybody's really, really into the new artwork on this stuff. It's like amazing. But we know what the songs are about, and we know how we want everyone to perceive the band. So having that control over our actual artwork is nice, because we make sure we get it right. So yeah, I mean, we're just the fans have been asking for shirts for these designs already. So it's a very popular sleeve, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Which topics shall the fans find in the lyrics of the new album?
Well, my usual love for religion comes to a couple of songs on the album. Is religion or anti-religion is a very personal subject for me. Goes back to when I was a young child, having all this religious stuff forced on me from like 4 years old, till I was like 10 or 11 years old, and it was not good. So it's kind of where my anger or frustration with religion comes to the forefront in Onslaught, So there's a couple of tracks on there, yeah. And I was a little tough. I was a little tough on religion with Religious Suicide in particular. But it's how I feel. It's personal, It's not a gimmick. It's not just for anti-religious song for the sake of it. It means something to me personally. So yeah. And the rest of the stuff has got a little political in places, which I think's been kind of necessary with what's been going on, particularly in the UK over the last 2 years. And obviously now the handling of the pandemic is pretty shocking as far as I'm concerned. So we've touched on these kind of things on a few songs as well. So it's the usual stuff. No song about war, I don't think, this time. I think I've missed that one out on this album, but I've covered everything else, all the topics that are kind of on the news all around the world at the moment, really. So yeah, it's very up to date with the lyrics,
Yeah. You are about to release a new video, like on July 17, I guess. What shall we expect?
Let me just say something very different.
Okay.
I can't give too much away because it is very, very different. It is very, very different for Onslaught. It's extremely different for a thrash metal band.
Okay.
But hopefully, I've not seen the finished product yet. We're still in the kind of post recording filming stage, where everything's being put together. But if it comes together, it's going to be incredible. If it really works, it's a little bit of a gamble, but I think it's going to pay off. But as I say, it's very, very different. So people can expect the unexpected. That's what I'm going to say, because
that's amazing.
It's going to be weird, but very cool.
Yeah. And once the emergency will be over, which plans do you have for your live activity?
Well, we're currently trying to book shows now as we speak.
Yeah.
Obviously the promoters are very, very wary at the moment, and quite rightly so. Nobody knows when we're going to be allowed back to shows, so they have to be very careful. But we're trying to stay one step ahead of the game. You know,
Yeah.
we had a lot of massive festivals cancelled this summer, and we were in the process of booking 3 or 4 other tours for late 2020 as well. So we've been seriously messed up by this. Fortunately, the festivals have all been carried over to next year. So all the festivals we had will be appearing at in 2021. But obviously that doesn't help the promotion of the new album right now. But at least we have them for next year. And we're trying to reschedule the tours, which is obviously a little more difficult than the festivals. So,
Yeah.
but this was the whole reason of putting the album out now, just to try and be ahead of everybody else. You know, we've seen Testament put their album out, Lamb of God put their album out. There was reasons they put that album out. So we looked at and right, let's get the album out there. Let's hope it does well. And then people are going to be really wanting the band for the live shows in 2021. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely. And as an established musician, do you have any good or bad memories from the glorious 80s?
Oh, just some amazing memories, of course, and a lot of them were in Italy. Amazingly enough, those are the best memory for me, and I think any of the guys who were in the band at the time will tell you probably the best memories of Onslaught was when we toured with Motorhead. You know, it was absolutely incredible time, and we did 4 shows in Italy, I think. And they were something really special, absolutely incredible, never to be forgotten. So many mad moments. It was just unbelievable. But yeah, that never goes away, especially now with it. We've lost Lemmy and Phil and what have you. So the memories are even more strong, you know. But yeah, that was the best thing that happened to us back in the day. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and which genres of music do you like to listen to apart from metal?
I'd listen to all sorts really. I like a lot of funk music, 70s kind of funk stuff, you know, Parliament and Funkadelic and things like that.
Yeah.
All kind of, it's still kind of heavy in a way, you know. It's got the heavy bass feel to it and stuff like that. But that's my kind of go-to thing. And obviously I love punk music also, which is kind of where I grew up with early days of Onslaught and things like that. So the Sex Pistols, Discharge, The Clash and bands like that are a massive influence on Onslaught in the early days as well. So
Yeah, and do you have like one final message and greeting to the Italian fans of Onslaught?
grazie, because every time we come to Italy is something special, you know. We've came to Italy obviously last year. We played at the show with Slayer at Rockett Castle, which was absolutely incredible. I think the year before we came Metal Italia Festival, maybe with Testament and Exodus, and every time we come, it's just amazing. We have such a great time in your country. When we do the club shows, absolutely incredible. You know, it's just that. It's like a second home. It's one of the first places I came to on vacation as a kid. You know, and I've
really?
loved it ever since. So it's like when we come to Italy, it's just incredible. And I thank you for your support for forever, from back in the day when we came with Motorhead, right up until now. I mean, the fans are so cool.